E360 TV proudly presents Messages of Inspirational Stories, broadcasting and live streaming to millions of devices around the world, including Roku, and live streaming to Facebook Live. Also on Amazon Fire TV and to Twitch. Also Android TV and Periscope. Broadcasting to Apple TV and YouTube Live. Proudly brought to you by our host, Donna producer and host, Michaela Vidal, host and administrator, and Jim Grant, producer and host. Proudly brought to you by the 6minutewebinar.com.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Messages of Inspirational Stories. What a week we're going to have, Jim.
This is Singing My Song because Absolutely. We're going to be talking about the young entrepreneurs that are coming up, kids that did not think about defeat. All they thought about was just fulfilling an idea, keeping it simple. And we're going to be talking about entrepreneurs. We're going to be sharing a few of their stories here today and throughout the week. And Donna, we're very, very excited about the opportunity that this show here, and I mean this in the bottom of my heart, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to giving complimentary gifts, I think we give the most complimentary gifts, number one. Number two, I think we provide the most value of any show around that I've seen personally.
Yep, I would agree. It is such a pleasure for us to give gifts that will help you in your journey through life. Whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a stay-at-home mom, which is the most important job in the world.
Oh, yeah, full time.
Been there, done that. And that's, I always said, if I screw up raising my kids, then nothing else matters.
You're exactly right. I got to change my glasses here and so I can read a little better. That way I won't be tilting my head back and looking like a... But ladies and gentlemen, we've got some gifts coming up, complimentary gifts. It'll probably be in a couple of weeks before we have everything in line. But these gifts that we're going to give, my goodness gracious, they're worth up $1,000 and more.
Yep.
They're complimentary gifts, and the only place that you can find these complimentary gifts is right here on this show.
Yep.
Because we provide value. We really do. And everything we put.
We're excited to be able to give them.
Oh, yeah. I was sharing with Donna. We were talking about it before the air, and oh, my goodness, she had some great ideas, and I've got some great ideas, and together we're going to have some real good ideas, That's the way it works. But we're very excited. So you want to make sure you continue to stay tuned with us because as soon as we get everything put together, we're talking about things like how to write your book, how to become a speaker, how to do, and we're talking, well, let me say this. Me and Don McGrath, we are both professional, certified presentators. And we took training that we received and we went right down through everything that we knew from that training and our personal experience. I was an instructor for 12 years, a certified instructor in the United States Army, and I've been speaking on stage since 2000. So I think if you say 20 plus years plus the 12 years military, I think I've got a little bit of credentials there, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And, having being a certified speaker is amazing. Jim is, of course, Don is, I am. But this gift coming up, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why we're mentioning it now. We want you to, get ready because it's coming. It's coming.
Right. So, this week we're talking about young entrepreneurs, our future.
Mhm.
And it really has occurred to me, Jim, the most beautiful thing about these young entrepreneurs, besides their ideas and their drive, okay?
Mhm.
But I have to say this, that their parents didn't squelch their dream. They didn't
Oh, yeah.
squelch their creativity
Mhm.
because we grow up, um, and it's better today than it was, say, 30, 40 years ago. And I know, Jim, you'll attest to this. But if you if you were a teenager growing up and said, look, I want to make this and it'll be fun and I think I can make money out of it. I know
Mhm.
my house, it would have been like, what the hell are you talking about? You need to get a job and stop that daydreaming.
Oh, yeah. It used to be the old world. They'd say, go to school, get a good education, get a good
Right.
job, and be set for life. Name one place on planet Earth, Jupiter, Mars, Moon, wherever you want to. Name one place that would work. It's not there anymore.
Right.
And as you were talking, that brought to mind an episode on Leave It to Beaver. Beaver had the
Now
bright
you're
idea.
dating us, Jim.
I know it. I know. I'm talking about myself. But anyway, that was back when I was young and good looking. Look. But Beaver on this episode, this was back in the late 50s, early 60s. Beaver had the idea. Get this now. Think about the time frame. He wanted to bottle and sell water, and his dad Ward says, "Beaver, you can't sell water." And I find that so ironic because look what happened within the next, I don't know how long bottled water's been around or, selling water and stuff, but it's been around for decades now. But it
Right.
was not around back when that show was aired on Leave It to Beaver.
It was
Uh,
not around in the 70s. It
oh,
was
no,
not in
no.
the 60s. It wasn't around. Um, I think there was a little bit in the 80s, but not.
Yeah.
It
You
was more
know,
like Perrier.
yeah. And what you normally saw was water being hauled in for businesses.
Right.
Water coolers and stuff like that, to get that's what I remember. And I could be wrong. But bottled water, mm-mm. And Ward told Beaver, he says, Beaver, you can't sell water.
Right.
And but
And
it,
and I want to say this too. It isn't that our parents were trying to squish us in our
mm-mm,
thought process, but they
mm-mm.
were product of their generation. And
Yes,
we're talking depression babies.
yes, yes,
And
yes.
that, let me tell you, if you've had no experience with dealing with people who were depression in the depression era, the depression
Mhm.
babies, that is a whole nother animal right there.
Yes, it is because they believed in working and saving and scrimping and saving. And, so it's kind of like the old proverb sometimes where you stand depends on where you've been forced to sit. Well,
Right.
you certainly cannot blame them because I remember my dad telling me, he said, son, during the Depression, he says, I drove a truck for $8 a week.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't by the hour, it was by the week,
Right.
$8 a week. And truck drivers sometimes put in some long hours.
Yes.
And
Yes.
they drive at day and they drive at night and they nap here and nap there. And then he told me, he says, when I got up to $10 a week, he says, I was making some money.
Right.
And this is in the early 60s. And I'm sitting there looking at him like, because that's not even anywhere on my register in my
Right.
mind.
Right.
$10 a week. I mean, heck, I could almost bum that much money from him. But yeah, but the point is that he said, when I got up to $10 a week, he says, I was able to buy a good used car.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going, wow, but that just goes to show you what their mindset was because they knew what it was like to be without. And
Right.
they grew up with the mindset that they wanted their kids to have a better life than they did because they loved us.
Absolutely.
And the only way that they could visualize that happening was to go to school, get a good education, get a good job, and be set for life.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't bad advice. In fact, for many years, that worked pretty good for a lot of people, most
Right.
folks anyway. But
Right.
nowadays, kids, I mean, how long has it been since kids go to school, they run up a big student loan, they come out of they come out of college, they don't know how to market themselves,
Right.
and they wind up flipping burgers for minimum wage.
Right.
Not trying to be negative, I'm just saying that
It
that's
happens.
it happens.
Right.
And these young kids here we're going to be talking about,
Oh,
they started as entrepreneurs because they had a dream and they just want to live it. And I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, Donna and I, we talked about this 3 weeks ago
mhm.
about preparing now for the New Year's revolution. 2022 is going to be awesome. It really is.
It is. It absolutely is.
Mhm.
So, Jim, I'd like to jump right into it because I know between you and I and how we feel about, children in general,
Oh, yeah.
right? And being, entrepreneurs ourselves,
Mm.
that this is going to be one crazy awesome show. So let's just jump right in. So
Okay.
the Da Bomb Bath, DA and then BOMB bath, Da Bomb Bath.
Hmm.
In 2012, Caroline and Isabel Burklaw were like many 11 and 12-year-old girls. They were obsessed with bath bombs. They experimented with their own recipes for the fizzy, fragrant balls, adding a surprise in the center, like a toy. They tried selling a few at the local art fair in Minneapolis, and they realized they had an instant hit. By 2015, their product was in 30 local shops. And following a successful trip to Atlanta for an international trade show in 2016, they had placement in stores across the country. They were, we were making 20,000 bath bombs a month in our basement, Isabel says. Then
Mm.
Target called and everything changed. They wanted us in 1,800 stores, Isabel said. We knew we had to get our act together quickly. Their mom stepped in as CEO while the sisters focused on product development and marketing. Production and storage moved to a nearby warehouse. The girls enrolled in their school's on-the-job program, which let them use a certain amount of school time as work time. Our friends in school have been really supportive, Caroline says. Some people who don't know us will come up to us and be like, hey, you're the bath bomb girls. How much money do you make? I'd rather them ask about what we do day to day or what it's like to sell a product. They don't understand the work we put into this. It's not about the money.
Mm.
Today, Da Bomb remains self-funded and generates more than, are you ready for this?
How much?
20 million in annual revenue.
Holy smackaretas.
It's big business, but it's also a
Mm.
family business.
Mm.
We talk about bath bombs 24/7, says Isabel, who's starting her freshman year at a local college just 20 minutes from Da Bomb's warehouse. Sometimes we'll be out to dinner and say, we just need to be a family for 20 minutes. But it's brought us closer and we always have each other's backs. Well, almost always. I've been fired 5 times, jokes CEO and mom Kim. Only when you ground me, Isabel replies. Spoken like a proper teenager.
I hear you. And they were 10 to 11 years of age. And that was in 2011. Was that correct? I think, if I heard that right, I believe it was back in 2011 when they
2012.
just 2012. Okay, 11 and 12 years old. And then by just 3 years later, so they would have been 14 and 15 respectively, they were making 20,000 bath bombs a month in their basement. My goodness gracious.
Uh-huh.
And all they did was just, hey, we had a need. We saw a need. We fulfilled that need, and look what happened.
Right.
All they did, and I love the fact. I love the fact when you said it's not about the money. How
Right.
many young kids would get caught up in the money?
Right.
Oh, goodness. And that is a great lesson right there for us all heading into 2022, because I'm telling you, if you look at the news and all that, I'm not talking about all the negative stuff, but what I'm talking about is that people are getting restless. They're tired of the doom and the gloom. They want to live, they want to survive, and they want to thrive, and they want to enjoy life. And who knows, they might want to get in the bath with a bomb too. You know, you never can
Right.
say.
But
But
it is an amazing thing, because this is, what most
mm,
little girls like. They like the pretty smelly stuff and the makeup and the this and the that. And
mm,
they took it a step further. And I absolutely commend their mother and father for
mm,
not breaking their spirit.
mhm. And we're going to have a young man on. He's in the eighth grade. I'm going to get his story. I met him recently at well, it's over in Chapel Hill, Texas. They were over there for the Bluebonnet Festival, and he just decided he wanted to make some soap, and he's very successful at his soap. And he's a very quiet and humble young man. And I'm going to have him try to get our schedule so we have him on our Friday show, and hopefully that'll work out for everybody. But this is what it's about. You
Right.
young entrepreneurs, you can show some of the old boys and old girls how it's done
Well, and
because
you're right, Jim. But here's the other thing.
Mhm.
They, I think sometimes their success is because um, they're not wired like we are now,
Oh yeah, they're not
right?
beat up with all this mental baggage we carry around.
Right, right. So, they don't have, the years, and in all honesty, mom and dad were, taking care of the mortgage and the food on the table as young
Mhm.
girls.
Sure.
So they didn't have that worry.
Mhm.
And I totally understand that. But still, even that aside, they're not wired with the, oh God, what if it doesn't work? What am I
Yeah.
going to do? The
Mhm.
coulda, woulda, shoulda. And that'll
Yeah.
kick you to the curb every time. What they
Oh, it
were
sure will.
wired with is, okay, that one was a bust. Now let's try this and see what happens.
Mhm.
That's what they
Yeah.
were wired with.
Yeah, because these young girls just started out with, hey, let's just do this, put a little toy inside. Let's make something unique, something that we love to make with our hands. And boom, cheeky
Right,
boom, that thing came together. And they is kind of like, okay, now all they did was just continue doing what they love doing.
right,
And that's what we ask people sometimes. What is it you want to do? And a lot of people say, well, I want to make money. That's not a good answer. And
right,
I know there's some folks out there that say, Jim, are you nuts? But money is the reward for your efforts and what you
right,
delivered. Your focus should be on your product, your service, your good name.
right.
And if you look at that 6-minute webinar right there, that is the greatest tool that you can have to market anything. It really
You
is. And that's just not us saying it.
right,
Wow.
right. You can't lose with the 6 minute webinar.
No. And
It's
that's
just
one of
that
our free
simple.
complimentary gifts. Tell them about it, Don.
Oh my goodness. So here's the problem. When we have a business, it doesn't matter whether it's brick and mortar, if it's out of your house, it doesn't matter. We get so excited. And oh my gosh, Jim, I want to tell you everything I do. And then
Mhm.
I proceed to throw up on you
Yep.
verbally,
Mhm.
right? And then the excitement is there and you catch the excitement, but there's so much information of so many different things that you're doing or products that you have
Mhm.
that you can't it's a sensory overload to the other person.
It is.
And that's where the clarity comes into play with the
Mhm.
6 minute webinar. You
Mhm.
take it by section. So you're dissecting your business or whatever it is you do. You're
Mhm.
dissecting it for A, B, C, D, E, whatever. and then you only go with those parts.
Yeah.
And man, it will be, once you fill out the questionnaire, it's about what, 40 questions?
40 questions, 12
Yep.
sections. And Donna and I, as our complimentary gift, if you contact us at, let's see, here's our email address, inspiration@e360tv.com. One of us will hand walk you through your very own 6-minute webinar. That's a complimentary gift. Ladies and gentlemen, that's worth $1,000 right there.
Yep.
Because you're talking about the technology, you're talking about our time, you're talking about everything, and that's a complimentary gift. And if someone's trying to get you on landing pages and selling you funnels and all that, a 6-minute webinar, game over.
Yep.
Because you can put it on a YouTube video and send a link there, and you can ask people for their opinion. People love to give you their opinion. And the 6-minute,
right?
Yeah,
you can attach it to everything.
Yeah, exactly. You can target special interest groups, because if you have, let's just say let's say if you're involved in a weight loss product and it's a good product, you only talk about weight loss. You make that video, and I don't know if Donna's laughing at me or yawning, but it's one of the two. Now she's laughing. But you make that video, and you can put that video in other groups that are interested in losing weight. That's target marketing. That's what Mr. X taught us. He went on for 9 days about how to build marketing relationships and target marketing and all that. And speaking of Mr. X, we have a very nice complimentary gift. Our charity, Shelter to Soldier. If you donate $100 to the Shelter to Soldier project, excuse me, Mr. X will give you 30 minutes of marketing time on how you can fine-tune your marketing.
Yep.
He's pretty good at it, ain't he, Donna?
Well, I would list him as, marketing extraordinaire.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
He works with Fortune 100 companies, but he loves, it really gives him immense amount of satisfaction to work with the entrepreneur, the small guy, the guy starting out, because he knows what that's like.
Oh yeah.
And he wants to be able to help. And I can tell you folks, knowing Mr. X personally, he has one of the most giving hearts I've ever seen.
Yes. He is a true first-class gentleman. We give our word on that. And I love the fact that when he walked his team into the boardroom, that was the boardroom of, was it Home Depot?
Home Depot.
Yeah. And he closed the deal. And the way he got it in, he told the fish story.
Right.
He sure did. But also back in the 80s, he was working with Emory Air Freight, and they were just little bitty there in Jacksonville, Florida. They were flying stuff in a little bitty Cub plane and flying stuff out because that's all the business they had. And he went to work with them, and he went to marketing. And he got a bigger plane and a bigger plane. And then I think he said it was 727, I think. And he says, hey, this is news. And the company says, oh, it's not that big of news. And some of the bigger airports, we have bigger planes. We have a 737, whatever, blah, 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 But he didn't take their official reply seriously. He knew how to market. And listen up, folks. He also knew how to get free advertising. And he will share that with you in detail when you evaluate your business. If you donate $100 to the Shelter to Soldier organization, we'll tell you a little bit about that first. But I crack up every time I think about this, Donna, because when they got up to 727, he just went to the local news media, the TV stations.
It was brilliant. It was brilliant.
Yeah. And long story short, he had the, let's see, wait a minute. I'm trying to, I want to say the the Port Authority. He had some people
Port
there
Authority.
from the Port Authority. That's what I'm trying to think of. And a news crew, camera, reporter on the scene, at 4:30 in the morning. And you know what they were filming? An airplane landing in an airport.
Right.
I mean, I'm not making this up, ladies and gentlemen.
Nope.
He actually did that. So that's the kind of person that you can have evaluating your business and teaching you how to get free advertising, how to get free content out there, how to do copywriting out there. He will give you that. And we say 30 minutes, it may go 45 knowing him because we know his heart. And the Shelter to Soldier, that's a great organization because you save more than 2 lives, but right up front, you save 2 lives. Number one, you save the life of the dog. And who else do they save there, Donna?
The veterans.
The veterans. Go ahead.
Well, with this program, they bring the dogs out of the pound. They save the dog's life. They give them countless hours of training. And then with the veterans who apply for this program, they have, of course, an intake. So they have an idea of how they work and, what kind of person they are. And based on that, they bring in 4 or 5 dogs and put them in for an introduction. And the dog and the soldier find each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And they,
sure do.
Right? And so with this program, folks, absolutely not one life, not one soldier veteran has committed suicide under this program.
And these soldiers suffer from PTSD and also TBI, traumatic brain injuries. That is tremendous. So that's a wonderful thing. And you can also get involved with your local shelter because, as Donna mentioned yesterday, they need towels.
They need towels. They need canned food. They need dog food, cat litter, you name it.
Yeah.
They need, you can just call and ask them because, they have to clean obviously the kennels. So they, whatever cleaning supplies they need,
Right. Just any way that you can give back because that's part of what life is all about. It's not about getting, it's about giving. And, like Donna, I mean, she's a producer and host here on E360 TV. She's also a great source to go to for free coaching if you're dealing with depression, anxiety, fear, whatever it might be. Donna will be more than happy to give you 3 days of counseling for free, complimentary gift. I'm waiting for her to smile at me. 30 minutes is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. 3 days.
I'm like, okay. Well,
I would just see if she was
schedule that.
Yeah. I would just see if she's paying attention to me.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely paying attention, Jim. Well,
we have fun here on the show too.
Right? Understanding, folks, that high energy doesn't mean like, oh my gosh, my energy is just off the chart. It doesn't really mean that because we cannot sustain that kind of energy for a long period of time. But what it really means is having that harmony and balance in a perfect fit and getting rid of what is blocking us, that negative energy. And so in my program, it is not a cookie cutter program. It isn't, everybody gets the same thing because we're all different. We're all individuals. So what works for you won't work for somebody else. So understanding that, but I will say the one thing that is the same is it's going to be a person, a place, or a thing that is a trigger. And that is what we have to find out that is holding you back so that you can have the energy balance and the lifestyle going forward you want and that you deserve.
And you can email Donna directly there at highenergyrightnow@gmail.com. And I want to share a story, and I'm going to look at my cheat sheet here in my notes to make sure I got it correctly. But this young man, he was very old when he started as an entrepreneur. 6 years old.
It's amazing.
Oh, it blows your mind. This young man, his name is Corey Nevis. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. Nieves. When he was 6 years of age, he's known as the founder and CEO of Mr. Corey's Cookies. Cory''S, Mr. Corey's Cookies. Now listen to this. Yeah, I'm going to read this if I may, ladies and gentlemen. At the age of 6, Corey had a very ambitious plan. He wanted to sell hot chocolate in his Englewood, New Jersey neighborhood and save enough money to buy his mom a car. Wow, what does that say about that little kid? He says, I was tired of taking the bus and I wanted to help my mom.
Yep, he already had a giving heart at age 6.
Mm-hmm. So his mother did a wonderful job with that young man.
Yes, she did.
And he started selling Swiss Miss, hot chocolate in the cup for $1 a cup. When he sensed an opportunity for more substantial treats, he started searching online for the perfect cookie recipe. After 3 months of baking with his mom, he bit into what he thought was the perfect chocolate chip cookie. The recipe was a hit. That's when he knew he had a business, when people started taking our cookies seriously. And he and his mom began taking cookies to local races, festivals, where he could pitch potential customers with irrefutable lines like, life's too short not to eat a cookie.
I love that.
Excuse me. He got right to the point, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
And business and local press grew consistently. See, here's a story. This young man, he may not know anything about marketing, but he knew how to just be himself.
Right.
And that's one of the key ingredients of being successful.
Right. Don't try and be somebody you're not.
Oh, yeah. And don't try to, say the same thing someone else does, because you're not a human parrot.
Right.
You're an individual, because some people, because they don't know what else to say, but that's their problem. And in 2015, this young man was invited to appear on the Ellen DeGeneres TV show. What about that? And he was 15, and so 2015, I think he's 15 now, it says. And the response was overwhelming. More orders came in than him and his mom could possibly fill. It caused a huge supply and demand issue, he says. To scale, they sought out investment and hit TV gold again, an appearance on the CNBC's The Profit earned Mr. Corey's Cookies a $100,000 cash infusion.
Wow.
And an e-commerce site was launched. Cookie helpers were hired and he started shipping across the country. Today, the company offers 14 different flavors of cookies, and he has high hopes for expansion and for his future. When I get older and finish college, I want to leave Mr. Corey's Cookies for a little bit. I'll start somewhere at the bottom and work my way up. He's done it once before. There's no reason why he can't do it again. My goodness gracious. And it all started because, he just decided, like some kids have a lemonade stand in the summertime. He had a hot chocolate stand, $1 a cup, during the wintertime out there in Englewood, New Jersey. And a star was born. Oh,
absolutely. I love that. And I love most of all that it came from him wanting to help his mother. So, from what I gathered from the article, Jim, his mom was a single mom.
Yeah.
Right? And I get that. I get that, man. There is too much month at the end of the money,
Yeah.
And as a single mom, and you're like, how am I going to make this? How am I going to rob Peter to pay Paul? And he saw what a struggle it was and wanted to help his mother at age 6. And not only did he say, I want to help her, but he went about to make it a reality.
Yes. Yes, he did. And you think about all the people who are 3 or 4 times older than this young man, actually 5 or 10 times older than him and think,
Right?
because if you're, 10 times older, you'd be like 60. And, half of that, you'd be like 30. And how many people would, you know, wrestle in their mind with negative thoughts, negative energy, and all this, that, and the other, and they would find some way to goof it up. But this young man says, hey, people like this. And his approach was real simple. Life's too short not to eat a cookie.
It doesn't get any better than marketing than that.
Mm-mm.
I mean, it's right to the point, and it says you need to take time out and have a little treat for yourself because you deserve it.
That's something we've been saying on this show many, many, many times, especially last week, and we were covering about how to
Right.
prepare for Christmas. Take time to treat yourself.
Right.
Oh my goodness, you deserve that. You really
Right.
do. And maybe later on at night when the kids are asleep, but take some time out to treat yourself with something special. Maybe it's a cookie.
Absolutely.
Maybe it's hot
Right.
chocolate. Maybe it's hot tea. Maybe it's reading a book, whatever.
Hey, I am guilty as charged. I used to, there was a certain kind of cookie that I liked in the store, and I would buy it,
Mhm.
and I would
Hide
hide
it.
it in my drawer. And
That's
I promise
intelligence.
you, right? My children would never go in my underwear drawer because that was just, oh my God, mom's underwear. So I'd hide it in the back of my underwear drawer so I could have cookies later. Because if I didn't, they'd eat them all, Jim.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back right after this commercial. Oh my goodness. Have you told Edgy that story?
I probably have.
Okay.
have.
Well, at least he'd have an excuse if he wouldn't look at your underwear. He said, well, I'm in here looking for cookies.
Right. Oh God, that's awesome. That's awesome.
She's going to snort on me in a minute. What are you doing here? Oh, honey, I'm looking for some cookies. I had to go there. I that was too good. That was too good. But these young entrepreneurs, they have the heart. And, like the first two little girls you read about there, they did not have any focus. It wasn't about the money.
Right.
And they just wanted a product that they could love and they say, hey, we like this. We think others will like this. And this young man, Corey, he went on a search to find the perfect cookie recipe. He tried it and he says, hey, I've got it. I love my cookie and I'm going to share my cookie with others. And his message, think about that. If you walked up to a little kid and he's standing there and he's got a little cookie booth and he says, life's too short not to have a cookie or enjoy a cookie.
I'd have bought it a baker's dozen.
Oh, yeah. No question. That's just, you just reach in your wallet automatic and say, okay, I'm going to show you.
Right.
But man, oh man.
It is amazing.
It really is, Donna. And, there's just more and more of these young entrepreneurs. We're going to be covering some more. Would you like to share another story, Donna, if you got one there?
I really would, because this one I think is kind of interesting. So and I hope I pronounce this right, so if I don't, please forgive me. When Sunil Chawla was a sophomore in high school, he wanted to launch a web development startup as a way to monetize his hobby. But there's just so much red tape for young founders, he says. I was under 18, so I couldn't file legal paperwork or get a bank account on my own. He started researching ways to lower the barrier to entrepreneurship and zeroed in on fiscal sponsorship, a common practice in which nonprofits extend their legal status and back-end support to small projects with a similar mission. I developed software to automate all the paperwork and basically made a really scalable version of fiscal sponsorship. He's now 19 and a sophomore at the University of Southern California. In 2017, Hack was born as a nonprofit that provides free fiscal sponsorship to student-founded charitable organizations. Companies like Google, Microsoft, and Amazon have provided support and B2B resources. Chala and his team of 12 have helped 926 students launch their organizations, raising more than $1 million in support.
Wow.
This fall, right? This fall, in partnership with Stripe Atlas, Hack Plus will launch a version of the platform focused on supporting for-profit startups. If we can manage all the legal and financial stuff for these young founders, they can focus on their mission and their goals, he says. It will open the door to so much impact.
Ooh, yes, they will. And you notice, ladies and gentlemen, all three of these little young entrepreneurs, they saw something.
Right.
You know, whether it was a personal need or what it might be, he wanted to, like little Corey, I'm going to go back to him. He wanted to earn money for his mother so that she could, have a car. That's love and that's compassion. And he realized, hey, I've got something here. And he was just selling hot chocolate for $1 a cup. And then he went into something that he loved to make, which is cookies. Now, my question or my comment to you out there, maybe a question too, is that what is it in your community that you see a need for, whether it's profit or nonprofit? What is your calling in life?
Right.
What's holding you back beside the physical things of worry? Can't do this. This might go wrong. Well, what about that? Well, I don't know.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yep. And I like what Les Brown said one time. He was speaking in Orlando, and I was there. And I also have spoken in Orlando. But I'm standing over there by the side, and Les says, where is the richest place on planet Earth? And there was two things came to my mind. I said, well, I know it's not my hometown. I grew up on a farm. And I got to tell people, we didn't know we were poor till we went to town. But what we're rich in with money couldn't buy. But I'm thinking, I don't know, Abu Dhabi or, I don't know. I'm thinking, Singapore. I don't know. Then he said, the cemetery. And everybody just went like,
what?
Yeah, because you don't normally hear a motivational speaker talking about the cemetery,
Right. Especially somebody of Les Brown's caliber.
Yes. And Les is a straight up guy. I got a lot of respect for him. And because the cemetery, like what Donna was saying, shoulda, coulda, woulda, that's where you're going to find all of the books that were never written. That is the place that you're going to find all of the dreams that were never lived. That is also the burial place of some of the greatest inventions that were never created.
And when you think about it, like my mother had the idea to invent two things. And very smart woman, but mom and dad never took it any further. And she made little dog diapers for dogs in heat long before they were on the market. And I'm thinking, she had the foresight to think about that. When I had my first child, she said, I really should make some kind of cover that'll go around the top of the shopping cart. So when you put the baby in, they're not getting all germy. And I'm like, I look at it now and I'm like, oh my goodness. Right there was just two of the things that this woman thought about on how to make it and the need for it.
Yeah. Tremendous need.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you right now, when it comes to pets, listen up. People will spend money on their pets before they will on themselves.
Oh, I
Hmm.
absolutely. I've said more than once to Edgy, no pet of mine will go without food. I'll starve before I let them get hungry.
Oh yeah, because they're our fur babies and we love them.
Yep.
And I got to give dogs, I got to tip my hat to dogs and pets in general, but mainly dogs because back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, dogs were dogs. But then as time went on, dogs became more like family members. They're now fur babies, let's be honest. And
Oh
dogs,
yeah.
being as smart as they are and intuitive are, they go like, huh, okay, this will work. I like this. You know, I look pretty for some chicken, you bet.
Right.
And they're very, very smart. And that's why they look at your face.
Hmm.
They study your face. And if you got a good idea about anything in the animal world, do it. Push that self starter.
Yes.
Do it now. Because
Right.
otherwise, if you snooze, you lose. And if it doesn't get invented, it's going to wind up in the cemetery. Okay.
It's true.
And if someone else invents it, you're going to wind up in the poorhouse because you're going to be furious. And it's like I knew a guy that back in the 50s, he actually invented a gooseneck trailer. I mean, he made one
Oh, what?
because they weren't around. They were just all bumper hitches.
Right.
And he thought, wouldn't it be a wonderful thing? You can have a trailer and have it be a gooseneck that comes up and attaches to the ball in the middle of the truck, right above the axle.
Right.
So he made one, and he didn't patent it. He just made one because he wanted one for him. And everybody's looking at, wow, wow, wow. And guess what happened?
Right. Somebody saw it and patented it.
Hmm. And he was a guy that come up with it because prior to 1950, you'd be pretty hard pressed to find a gooseneck trailer. I mean, there were
Right.
trucks and trailers out there, yes, but a gooseneck trailer is what we know it as and what we recognize as a gooseneck trailer.
Right.
He had it. He made it. He could have went into business and started making those things, but that wasn't his dream. That wasn't his goal in life. So there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying I've known people that says, hey, I had that idea 10 years ago and look at them now. They're making it. And now I'm mad. Well, whose fault is that?
Right. You gotta look in the
Yeah.
mirror when you're mad. And you
Yeah.
want to point the finger at somebody. Remember, when you
Hmm.
point one finger at somebody else, you got three pointing back at you.
That's right. And, one of the things I want to share with you today is if you're guilty of that, when I say guilty of that, you're feeling the guilt from that. Love yourself, forgive yourself. Tune in to The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale on the YouTube video. You can also get in touch with Mr. Bill Heinrich, the author of The Seven Levels of Truth. Here's another good complimentary gift. Mr.
Mm.
Bill will give you a free 30-minute consultation on how to find clarity in your life, how to get out of the physical, get into love and abundance.
He's
In other words,
amazing.
oh yes, he's second to none. I have his book here. He's redoing his book. He's still calling it The Seven Levels of Truth, but this is a personalized copy from him to me. That's Mr. Bill there. Super guy.
You know
True
what?
life. Go ahead.
I'm going to get my book out and bring it in here so that you can't have all the credit.
Okay, I can live with that. But also too, one
And
of
we
the
laugh
things
because
too.
Bill's our friend.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Good friend of ours. And we also want to share something too, because if something's holding you back and you're worried about something, we've already told you how you can get in touch with Donna, how to get in touch with Bill, how to get in touch with the Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. But if it's something physical that's bothering you, boom, chicky boom, here's another freebie, another complimentary gift from us. The Academy of Wellness. Go there and fill out. I got something in my throat today, excuse me. Go there and fill out the 10 questionnaire, simple little questions, and make an appointment with Dr. George Grant. He's no relation to me. And he will give you a free complimentary AO scan. A as in Alpha, O as in Oscar scan. Donna, that thing is mind-blowing.
It is, and it's accurately freaky.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's accurately freaky. He said, Donna, you've got a problem with your hip. And I said, well, yeah, doc, my right hip's about, my whole right leg is about almost 1.5 inches shorter than my left leg. Oh, okay. That would explain that. That's why that showed up like that. I never talked to him about it.
Yeah. He also knew she went out and ate some sushi.
You're right. There'll be no more sushi eating for Donna.
She had bacteria in her stomach.
Yeah.
In her system.
And
yeah.
Apparently my little body said, nope, you're not doing it. Can't handle it.
Mm-hmm. Also, too, when he did mine, he saw some things, and this is like a 3D MRI. The true advantage in that, it's got red markers and green markers. Your green markers means you're good to go. Red means, okay, you need to pay attention to that. Okay.
Right.
And the good news of it is he emails it to you. He goes over it with you. And any area of concern, you can email that to your medical doctor and say, hey, let's talk about this. I'd like to make an appointment. I want to talk to you about this. And, therefore, you have the blessed assurance that you're in control of your life. You don't have to live in fear.
Right.
Because many years ago, I knew a young lady. She was probably early 30s, maybe late 20s at the time. For some reason, I don't know how it came up, but she was convinced that she had cancer. So she canceled the family vacation because she was worried she wouldn't have fun. And then she goes through some tests and all that and found out she don't have cancer. But think about all
of a lot of life.
Yeah, think about all the things that she put on herself, all the pressure, robbing herself of the love and energy of going on a vacation. And it's
she
it's
put it
amazing.
On her family too.
Yes, yeah.
Because that's one of the things, that like with what I do, Jim, that's one of the things you have to understand. When you are going through something, it isn't just you.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It affects everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so she robbed her family of that time.
Mm-hmm. And had her family and friends worried about her for no reason at all. And last but not least, we know you can get a complimentary discount here. I think it's 20% at the mochhabun.ca. You talk about good coffee.
Gourmet coffee.
Yeah.
You'll see Jim and I from time to time drinking coffee on the show. Hello.
Yeah. We're coffeeholics.
Bun.
Yeah, we're coffeeholics without the alcohol.
Right.
But yeah, Mocha Bun. They have a great coffee. It's gourmet. It's sun-dried. It's Yemen.
It's grown in Yemen. And I'm telling you, folks, it is amazingly good.
For you country folks out there, it's the cat's meow.
Right.
It really is. And if you mention you saw it on the show or whatever, I think it's 20%. But give them give them a call up there. They're wonderful people. They'll be glad to, go to their website, check it over. They'll be glad to answer any question you have and just say, I saw it on the TV show. Do you offer a discount? And I know they will. And you can make the decision from there. But as far as giving a gift for Christmas coming up for a coffee lover.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. That's a home run.
Right.
That coffee there as a gift to a coffee lover. Not only will you smack the ball out of the park, you can smack that ball out of Yellowstone.
Right.
Yellowstone's a pretty big park, I understand. Is that right?
Yeah, just a skosh big. And there's 2 or 3 trees in there too.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Are you kidding me? And they have a faithful there too. Old Faithful, is it? Young Faithful? Yeah.
Old Faithful. They've got Yellowstone the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone. It's an amazing place.
Oh,
It is
yeah.
amazing.
I imagine sitting out there and, and breathing that fresh air. Imagine how that would feel, having a good cup of coffee that smells good, tastes good.
Oh,
It's not acidy. It's not, bitter in any way. I mean, you can just sit there, and anybody says anything to you at all, you can just take a sip out of your coffee and look at them and say, so what?
right. We were talking about that, my husband and I, because of course, we couldn't carry coffee in the suitcase with us. We had to buy it there.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But we were talking about that and how good the coffee tasted there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was pretty chilly. And
yeah.
it was just, it tasted so extra good. I mean, and here we are in this beautiful country that God put there for us, We're enjoying our time together on our honeymoon and just taking in everything. But man, because we drink coffee obviously every day, but it's like, as good as this is, it wasn't quite as good as it was when we were on our honeymoon.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I hear you. Hey, you know what time it is, Donna?
It is that time, isn't it? We are out of time. It is coffee break time.
Yeah, you bet. Our time is gone, ladies and gentlemen. We really have enjoyed being with you today, highlighting a few of the young entrepreneurs. And make no mistake about it, because 2022 is coming. You want to have a New Year's revolution in your life. You're going to be able to cash in on some of those great complimentary gifts that we shared. Most importantly, love yourself, love others. And it is our hope and our prayer that you and your loved ones are healthy, happy, and secure now and the year to come. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thanks.
We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye, folks.
Bye-bye.